All right, thank you everyone for joining us today for the Art and Abstraction 2024 Awards Ceremony. My name is Marissa Evangelista. I'm a gallery assistant with the Maryland Federation of Art, and some of you may have seen me on our virtual artist talks, but I am here today to help out with today's ceremony and to introduce our juror, Filipe Assuncao. Filipe Assuncao is a Portuguese painter living in Norway. He started painting very early and studied with masters for many years, building a solid background and technique in drawing and painting. He completed a master's degree in fine arts, concluded with the classification of excellent. He then started teaching art and curating exhibitions in 2012. Philip is a storyteller. He paints mostly figuratively, and his inspirations are people and emotions, which he normally pictures together with very strong colors. His strong speech is immersive, and each subject represented is part of a microcosmos. His great merit is to have been able to create new visual linguistics, an alphabet made up of signs and colors, which makes it easily recognizable in the immersed and varied art scene. He has also exhibited regularly around the world since 2005, and his work is highly recognized, having received more than 60 international awards and being published in dozens of art books and magazines. His artwork is present in museums and private and corporate collections all over the world. He is an active member in several art groups and organizations, for example, Neuralism, based in Italy. Additionally, he has also juried international art competitions for Camelback Gallery in the USA since 2021.
First of all, before I even start talking about this specific work and the other ones, I would like to elaborate a little more. So I appreciate that you read my my CV or bio, and then of course it's always like strange to be listening to all this. It looks like I'm like a really great master. I don't feel so. You know, this art is a learning process that follows you forever since you are born until you die. But I just want to say a few more words about this. So I'm not that young as I would like to be, so I have some experience here. And also this abstraction is not an easy subject as figurative, for example. I love figurative art because it's kind of much more easy to evaluate because, okay, you can have this classic approach, you can have modern approach, but in the end, you can set rules and you can understand much better the skills of the painter, of the artist. Here, it's not so easy to evaluate. So it's very personal, in my opinion. What I want to say in the statement very clearly is that it's very difficult to evaluate abstract art. And the process I used for this exhibition, I normally am a juror for other exhibitions, but I'm kind of in a final panel. So when I get the works, I get maybe like 100 works, and then I work from that. But in this specific exhibition, I got like more than 500 works to evaluate. So it was a very difficult task. And what I did, even it may sound almost impossible, I saw the works maybe, I cannot tell you the exact number, maybe all of them, like maybe 20 times, maybe even more. To be fair and honest in my choices, I had to memorize all the works. Only then I could have a full picture of the set of works and be able to make a choice and be fair. I wrote some guidelines. I don't like to read. I think this is all about feelings again. I don't like to read text about the works that we are seeing. I'm just going to try to work from my feelings and from my heart. For me, this is kind of a classic composition in abstract. It's what I see here and what captivated me. It was the silence. This is a silence. This is very peaceful. The composition is amazing. I like the colors. I love the way it's posed on the canvas. It gives me peace and attracts me. I also like the depth, even if you don't really know what it is, right? You know, now I see the title. I didn't even see the title when I saw the work, when I had to decide. I didn't know the title. So, but of course you can see some if you want. You can see more or less what is in the title. But to be honest, you don't need to see the title. What captivated me was this the depth. And even if it's abstract, it's almost in the verge of abstraction because you can see some details. But I love the depth. and the composition. I'm not sure if the artist for this work is present in the chat. If there are no questions, we can maybe get to the next one, please. This one, another thing that I want to say about my choices was I was trying to have kind of a diversity of works in this panel, not like being always in the same like I don't know register. Try to get like different things all in with the same quality, but in and you can see it now. You see that quite the difference between this one and the first one that we saw. This one is also an amazing work. I love the composition. I think the color scheme is amazing, and this rectangle that is like surrounding the main theme is also very well placed. I like the way this was made. I like the intention to create this work. There was some intention. It was premeditated. It catch my mind actually. So I believe it's also almost impossible to be indifferent to this work. It's really good quality work. This one also called my attention. I fell in love with this one immediately. Since the first time I was seeing all the works and going through, as I was explaining you, I went into all the works so many times before I could get to the site. But this one called my attention since the beginning because is the composition, it's the colors. It's again, I try to find something there. My eyes are trying to find something. I think I was still looking at it forever without finding, and at the same time I can see things there. I can imagine. So it brings my imagination, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's also like I could say this one was a silence, but it's not. This one is noisy. I can see the noise on this one, and I can see yeah, it's not much more that I can say. It's really great work like the others. It's almost like a Rothko, but with noise. It was a Rothko that was shaken. So that's what was my feeling when I saw it. Was it's a really great work. This is another one that is noisy. So I like to use the word silence because when I was studying one of my masters, this was many years ago, and I asked him, Master, is there any one day that I will be able to understand this abstract painting? Because I don't know what is good and what is not good. And he said to me, well, one day eventually you'll get there, but it's nothing that can replace your experience. So in time, you'll be able to see eventually what is good and it's what is not good. I think I'm getting there now. This one is good. I can tell you. I like the way it was done. It's elaborated. It's composition. It's the chaos. It's at the same time it's chaotic, but it's also quiet, calm, and I love it. My eyes also get lost in there. When I saw this, just trying to find something again, that's what I love also about abstraction is trying to find things. I could look at it forever like the other ones and just trying to get because our minds, we are designed for patterns. We are trying to find patterns all the time. And this is what is good about this kind of work. You're just trying to get it organized in your mind, but definitely, I don't know if there is anything there that you can explain. And I also like the way that it was layers over layers on this one. You can see it was not done in one go. It was done with layers. And this is also something I appreciate because it shows that it was premeditated. It was built. It was not just a simple painting. So I love it, and I think it's a great work also. Okay, this is another great work. This again, I'm going to start repeating myself. It is like I was trying since I saw it. I didn't see the title. I don't think the title was going to show us that much. But when I saw this work, I just tried again to find something here. But it's just incredible composition. I like the colors. I think the colors are amazing. I like the way it was a little of brutality here. I can see some scratches. I can see something carefully done, and then I can see it was like almost destroyed. I can see the layers. I like the layers. And I like most of all that when you look at it, it attracts you. It's impossible to be indifferent to this work, like the other ones. Again, this set of works, all of them are amazing. I just want to congratulate all the artists that were chosen and also the other ones, because it's not fair to have to be choosing only a couple of works in a so vast set. But honestly, this one it captivated me since the very beginning, and it's mature. It's a composition, the colors, and again, it's personal. I love it. I think it's difficult not to say the opposite. And I mean, to say the opposite, not to say to say the opposite when you see this work. Okay, this is another great example of abstraction. Oh, that's your paint. Oh, Carol, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Okay. This work is amazing. And uh, uh, when I have the pleasure to meet the artists, and I see this kind of work, I say, just continue like this, please, because this is all about, abstraction it's also all about childhood. I don't resist to say something. I'm not saying that this is childish, but I don't resist to tell you a quick story about, there is one art exhibition, one art fair in Europe, very famous, Arco Madrid in Madrid, that's very, very popular, maybe one of the best in Europe. And what they did a test in one of these exhibitions. They went to a kindergarten. They gave a canvas to 4-year-old kids. They put it on a table and they gave them paint, and they just did whatever they wanted with the hands. Just, of course, they were so happy messing up with the canvas and the colors. And then when they finished, they hanged the canvas on one of the most respected galleries in the exhibition, and they priced it $12,000. And then they asked our critics to come and make show their thoughts about the work, just make a little critic about the work. And it was very fun because all of them, without exception, really, really famous art critics, they said, this is amazing work. It was so well planned. It was, and then they were just doing this very funny. When they said this, like it's well planned, it's amazing. It was built, it was developed, and then they showed the children just splashing on the canvas all the time. They went back to the critic, and it was sounding very, very funny, because this shows how much is important to be childish in a way, because children can create amazing things. But this one is not an example because it's elaborated, but it brings me somehow to my childhood. So when I was just doing shapes like we all do when we are kids, but it's also very elaborated, and I can see and I love it because it's two things at the same time for me. It's very, very childish, but also very elaborated, if it's possible to say so. So I like the color scheme. I see this work hanging on a wall and being amazing, being adored by everyone. I'm going to tell you that I would be very pleased to have this working on my wall because I'm very demanding about that, but this one is absolutely great. But actually, all the works that are chosen, I would be really pleased to have them because the quality is really high. This one also catch my mind since the very first moment when I start seeing the works. Since the very first time I just scrolled over all of them. It catch my mind, and when I just continue going through and going back and forth, it just kept its place there because I like the composition is amazing. It's chaotic, but also it's very elaborated. I like the way it's built. You can see the intentions here. I like the colors. I think it's a very good choice of colors. I like the way it was placed. I like this, very defined shapes that you can see. There's some geometric shapes there, and also this chaotic whatever shapes that you can see at the same time. So I love this, blending of what is organized, with what is disorganized. I think it's a great work. It's definitely has a place as one of the best works in this show. Okay, and this one is actually the one that I was choosing as the best in the show. This one, again, like the other ones, it catched my attention since the first moment, since I saw it, because it's amazing work. I like the way it's built. You can see the layers, you can see the intentions, you can see something is, and when you do this kind of work, it's actually sometimes very difficult to know when to stop. This is all about abstraction too. Sometimes, and I've seen this many times, I was an art teacher and I see it many times. It's like sometimes you need to stop before it goes wrong. I have seen a lot of good works being ruined or being not I cannot say ruined, but they were much better before some time in the process than at the end. And so this is so difficult. And I think this one, the moment, it's perfect because you can see some at the background, you can see some shades, you can see something there, but then you can also see that something was, so you can see the layers, something was placed over the background in a way that is very, very organized. And this one, especially this one, I think is the most childish work of this entire panel. I love the way it's made because it looks like it was made by some children, and I don't want to like offend anyone, but you know, I think it's a privilege to say that you can do work like this, because as probably you know, Picasso said the same. He said, it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but it took me a lifetime to be able to paint like a child. And I think this is an amazing example of that. I really, really recommend Nancy that to continue painting like this, because this is an amazing one.
All right, thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, comments, anything at all, I encourage you to just unmute yourself and speak up. With abstraction, there's so many different kinds of works. Some works are very quiet and some works are very expressive and loud. So when you curate an exhibition, how do you go about connecting all the works in the exhibition?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. Very difficult to answer, to be honest. So as I said sometime in this in my explanations, I went for a little also for diversity, and honestly, it's not only in this type of exhibition or this type of abstract art. When you have an exhibition, a collective exhibition of any type, as you know, so you tend to have this problem, right? You're not going to have the works really don't match together sometimes. I mean, most of the times, to be honest, I've been attending, you know, I don't know, many exhibitions I attended, and when you have one artist doing an exhibition, it's very easy to have this. Well, it has to be curated, of course, but it's kind of easy or very easy to get this to be to have harmony in the works. So what happens with the collective exhibitions, whatever you do, it's always going to be a little, as you said, a little noisy. So it's difficult to place the works one against the other, well, aside to the others, because of the differences, of course, of the diversity. But we cannot let, in this specific case, when we have to decide about the quality of the works, you cannot let this be a problem. And I totally agree. When you put the work side by side, it's not going to be easy to have them matched with the others. But again, this cannot have any influence in the choices.
I'm going to move on to the next question. Someone in the chat, Julia, asked if you can please say a little bit more on what you mean when you say the work itself is elaborated. And she states that you've mentioned this a few times.
Yes, to understand this a little, you have to see an artist's work on abstract. I've seen plenty of works being developed, not only the final result, but being developed. Because again, I was an art teacher. I was dealing with art groups. I'm part of also. I painted together with other people. I paint mostly figurative, but some of my colleagues, they paint abstract. That also helped me to understand how you build and how you do abstract work, especially the one that I consider to be of quality. And again, my just stupid example that I gave about these kids, it also shows something really funny, that you know, as much as you want or you can always be fooled. As you know, experience sometimes is not everything. You can be fooled, or at least these art critics maybe just pretending that they would just need to show they were like connoisseurs of art. But in the end, to answer your question, elaborated for me is something that is that as a process. It's a process, because when you do a figurative artwork, you need to plan mostly if you want to do something with quality, at least that's what I try to do. I need to plan. I do a lot of sketches. I prepare I prepare the composition. I do this. I do all this process, and and then when I put it on the canvas, or I at least try to do some sketches, I try to use, there is a discipline that's called architecture of the painting. It is all about, in the old times, they had all these lines that you were just showing in the composition. Nowadays, it's not so important, but still, if you don't follow this, you don't have harmony normally. But for abstract work, this is very difficult to apply. So I believe most of these abstract works I can see here, actually, what I choose, they have some elaboration because there was some planning in the execution, and that's what I like to see, to be honest. Okay, I like also to do these works that you just put something in the canvas, on the canvas, and that's it. I also appreciate that it's also one other side of the art that I think it's amazing when you can just come from your roots and you just forget everything and you just put it on the canvas. And that's also amazing, but it's not the case. I really believe that the works that were chosen, they are elaborated because they are planned. That's most, I think that's the word, they're planned. And then they were built not just with random brush strokes, but with just the plan, with carefully applied paint, with the color composition in mind to be like pleasant. So, and I hope I'm right, but I maybe not. Maybe with some of these works have been just done, just from the bottom without any planning. But I don't think so. I think I'm right here.
It's really great that you have so much to say about all these different questions and that you can talk about them so articulately. So thank you very much. Okay, I do want to mention to everyone that we do have a reception at Maryland Hall this Thursday from 5:30 to 7. And this exhibition, Art and Abstraction, is located in the Martino Gallery. And it will be sharing a reception with another exhibition off the wall, which is right across from this gallery on the second floor of Maryland Hall. And another comment, Michelle mentioned that she is so honored to be chosen out of so many. Ms. Philip, your selection was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just say again, just please continue doing what you're doing. Don't lose this because this is amazing.
And one final comment, Meredith mentioned, thank you very much. So honored to be in this group. Really lovely abstract arts. And Renee also said, thank you for encouragement and your insights.
Thank you. I hope I can just, I really hope. And again, as you can see, I wrote a few guidelines, but I just spoke mostly from my heart and from my feelings, because I think I prefer this than just reading some nice text that I wrote that could be really sounding amazing, but it doesn't reflect what I want to say. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Philip.
No, thank you.
To see you all at the reception on Thursday.